Welcome to the Dr. Powell Show. I'm your host, Dr. Keisha Powell. Today on the Dr. Powell Show, we will talk about cerebral palsy and what supports are available for parents and caregivers. According to the 2010 report from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, cerebral palsy usually occurs as early as infancy, where there is an abnormal development or damage to the part of the brain which controls movement. 1 in 345 children have been identified in the United States each year. That is 3 in 1,000 children. Parents still find it difficult to get assistance, answers, or find resources. Today we have Miss Melanie Merkel, TV producer and parent. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Before we begin, could you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am an outreach trainer manager here at Community Voice Channel, which is a public access TV station. You're allowed, anybody who lives in the towns that we serve can come in and take a free workshop taught by me.
Wonderful. That's really cool. And so, as a parent of a child diagnosed with cerebral palsy, what were some of the challenges that you had to endure?
Well, so a little background on that is I have 2 children. I have a daughter who's 10 and a son who's 8.
Oh.
And they were both preemies. They were both born early. My daughter was born 8 weeks early, but she was okay. She fought very hard as a baby, which statistically, girls do well when they're born early. Boys have a lot harder time when they're born early. So now for my second pregnancy, the doctors did what they thought, everything they could to prevent me from delivering early. However, I delivered 11 weeks early with my son. However, though, being born early, though, wasn't the diagnosis to have cerebral palsy. What happened was he had an injury while I was pregnant with him. So he had an injury inside the womb. So the good thing about him being born early, though, was that we were able to do all the tests that a healthy baby born at full term doesn't usually get to have.
Oh.
Because they're born full term, they don't need to do certain tests, and then I feel bad for some of the parents that have babies born full term with cerebral palsy because you don't end up learning that your child has it until they start missing milestones. Then you start to realize what's going on here. But for me, because he was born early, we were able to find out as soon as he was born that this is something that he was going to have. So I was able to start the therapy process for him a lot sooner than, say, maybe somebody who had a full-term baby. It is the most common motor disability in children. It's not inherited, it's not genetics. It's just an injury that happens that no one can control. No one knows how it happens. It can either happen while the baby's still in the womb, it can happen at birth, or it can happen during birth, shortly after giving birth. Mostly it's a lack of oxygen, and during that time with the lack of oxygen, the brain matter cells die. So with Joseph, he had, it's it's such a blanket diagnosis. There's like 4 different types of cerebral palsy, meaning you can have one that affects all 4 limbs of your body. You could have it where it affects just your left side of your body or just your right side. You can have it where it just affects your arms or just your legs. So it just depends on where the part of your brain was damaged.
Right.
Okay. So with Joe, he had the injury in the womb. So he had damage to his white matter, which in the brain. And the white matter in our brain is what talks to the gray matter in our brain. And the gray matter is how we move. So the white matter will tell the gray matter, move your arm. So then you move your arm. But if you have damage to the white matter, there's nothing there to talk to the gray matter, to move. So that's where the motor disability comes from, is because there's just damage to the brain.
I like how you explain it to us. Please.
Yes, layman's terms. And it's but it's so, I've learned so much. I've worked in film and radio my whole life, and then now all of a sudden I'm learning all of these things about nurses and doctors, and
A whole different world.
it's a whole new world for me. And I feel like I can have conversations with nurses and doctors. I understand the terms, no problem. That all comes with time, though. So parents who, if you just found out about the diagnosis, like, just give it time. Everything heals in time. We find out more in time. The technology nowadays is just amazing.
That's
what it
true.
can do for for you. So, I always say, have hope. You never know. And the good thing, though, too, about when you have a young brain that is damaged, the good thing about it is that the brain has the ability to, like, rewire itself.
It does.
So the injury that he received in the womb, he could easily rewire his brain. If you or I received that injury now at this part of our life, our brain wouldn't recover, and we would be brain damaged, which is awful. For a child, though, it's really amazing
How they adjust.
how it can rewire and adjust, and how they can be brilliant in one thing, but he can't walk. That is his biggest thing. He is fully cognitively all there in his brain. He can read, he can do math, he can spell. His brain is fully functioning. He just can't walk.
Can't walk. Wow.
But it's amazing. Just another little thing that I learned. When we're born with our thumb on the inside, okay, of our 4 fingers. So when these fingers open up, the thumb instantly opens as well. So the thumb can't open unless these fingers open first. So that's why we're born like this. Joe was born with the thumb on the outside of his fingers. So the thumb can never open, right, unless these fingers open first. So that's when we go, that's where we have lots of training, lots of therapy to train the muscles. You got to open this up first, and then these just open up on their own. So it's all that tight muscles, and just learning how to relax and open them. So lots of massages, warm baths,
And does it help, the warm baths and the massages?
And it's something that will never, this is not something he'll ever grow out of. It's not something that gets worse over time. It's just, he'll have it his whole life. So it's just, what can we do to make him have an independent life? Because you can live an independent, full life with cerebral palsy. You just
you
need
can.
to, you need to know what to do, right? You need to know how to live independently, and thank God of all the resources that we do have nowadays. And if you can find those people to back you up, and they're out there, you just got to find them. There's so much free resources out there. You just have to find them, and they'll do the work for you. That's their job. Their job is to do the work and find it for you.
What supports do you have as a parent?
So I work with the Connecticut Children's Medical Center. They have a care coordination unit there, and they assign you a liaison, and they will call you when, randomly. You could call them with any questions, any concerns you have, and they direct you to anything that they can help you with. And if they can't, they'll call you back and find out for you.
Well, this is good to know, because I remembered when I was trying to research what resources were here in our state and realizing how limited it is. You can find resources for many other disabilities, but not much for cerebral palsy. And so it made me wonder, what kind of supports were there really for parents? So this is good to know, and this is good for viewers to know as well. So, which leads me to my next question. How did how were you able to overcome these challenges?
It was hard. It was hard. When he was first born, we didn't know we had no idea what his future was going to hold. You hear people telling you this, you hear people telling you that, and we all know that every kid is different.
So true.
Right? No matter what. No matter if they're a healthy kid or if they have a limitation. We're all different. And my biggest advice to parents is that because we're all different, doctors and nurses are very to the textbook. They go based on their training. They go based on what they've learned. So if you come to them, they're just going to go based on the textbook. But every child's different. So you can't go based on a textbook. So my thing to parents is, you always ask the same question to multiple people, especially if it's something that really concerns you. You ask the same question to multiple people, and I guarantee you'll get a different response. And but it was very, very hard to overcome. I think I just told myself, these are the cards that you were dealt, and now the best thing that you can do is, just like any parent, right, is to raise, you want to raise a child that can go off and be in society and make this world a better place, right? So I'm just doing the same thing, just with limitations. So it's like, well, these are the cards I was dealt, and now I can't be selfish, right? I have to it's him. Like, he comes, everything is based on what he needs and what's best for him, because I want him to be able to go on and have a full life without me. We all want that for our kids, right? So, just like any other parent, I want that for him too. And I just have a bigger team behind me helping support me, which is really what you need. You need a good team. You need to go to a good school, with good resources, and don't ever be afraid to speak up for your child, because you're their voice, because they can't speak, or they don't know yet what they need to say. You have to teach them what to say and how to speak up.
It's funny that you should say that, because I've often said to parents that they are their child's biggest advocate.
Yep.
especially when we have to navigate the social nuances of this world. It's not always kind, but we hope that it will be kind for them. And I have to say, just listening to you speak about your son is not only remarkable, but it suggests how strong you are as a parent and how strong you are as a woman. And I hope you'll write a book someday about this, because there really isn't, as much as I thought I knew, there really isn't a lot available. And I hope that this will change, especially here in our state. Have you been able, well, I know you said earlier about Connecticut Children's Center, but have you been able to find any other resources here in our state that you could share with our viewers out there?
Yeah, there's also the United Cerebral Palsy Foundation. They are also so fantastic. They too have a liaison that will just email you every once in a while. And the great thing too is that those people that work there are also people that live with cerebral palsy also.
Oh, really?
And they're working and they're, and they're doing just great. So not only can you turn to them for resources, but they are also dealing with it themselves. So they are a very great organization to reach out to.
That's great to know. So I hope viewers, you're listening, because we need more. We need more. And this would be a good moment too to say to the Connecticut Department of Public Health that they need to reach out and provide more resources for parents, for children who are diagnosed with cerebral palsy. I want to hear more about this, so if there's anyone out there who needs more information, please feel free to email us here on the Dr. Powell Show, because I think this is something huge. And by the way, we're wearing green because March is the month of to celebrate cerebral palsy, so please wear your green. What advice would you give to parents?
Well, always ask that same question. If it's really bothering you, always ask. And just, your child best, and you have to, you have to support them and fight for them in the ways that best fit them in what they can do, And I love too how even, because I'm a TV producer, so of course I enjoy watching movies. And I do love how nowadays movies are including more people with special needs. I mean,
Yes.
you turn on a lot of movies now and you see a lot of people, in wheelchairs. I mean, and it's like, I mean, they're part of our life too, And just because they're on wheels,
It doesn't
mean,
stop, no.
right? Doesn't mean that they can't be included, include them. Even, I know you had also talked a segment about autism. Same thing. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like, just include them.
Yes.
Best thing you could do for a child with a disability is to include them.
I love that. I know you have a poem that you'd like to share with us.
Yes.
And so, please, you guys, Melanie has, I would say, not just a huge talent, but very creative. And we'd love to hear your poem.
Okay. Thank you. It doesn't have a name, but it's just kind of about Joe. And just kind of about what CP is, okay, cerebral palsy. So CP is a very general blanket diagnosis. It's not inherited, it's not a disease, it's not predictable, it's not curable. It can have a million different outcomes. Literally, anyone can have a child with CP. CP is the result of an event that causes brain damage before the age of 3 years old. It can happen before birth, during birth, or after birth. Joe lost a significant amount of oxygen during or before birth, causing the injury. It sucks. It's not fair. It's so hard. And after 8.5 years ago, 7.5 years ago, when my sweet boy was fighting to stay alive, I couldn't have imagined anything more tragic. But now I know better. Would I have changed it if I could? Yes, of course I would in a heartbeat, but I can't. So we find the beauty in our situation. We embrace every challenge. We celebrate inch stones instead of milestones. We have a network of friends that we never would have known otherwise. His life is meaningful. He makes a difference in this world every single day. He is smart, spicy, beautiful, charming, funny, loving, and works harder than anyone I've ever known. And there's nothing tragic about that.
That's beautiful. You should, did you ever read it to him?
No.
You should. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to applaud you because when I hear you talk about your journey and about Joe and how you light up when you speak about him, the fact that he is, and by the way, he was supposed to be on our show as my co-host, but he's at school.
Yeah.
So I want to say he sounds not only like fun, but he has so much different little gifts about him. And I know that's because of what you've poured into him as his mom. I applaud you.
Thank you.
I salute you.
Thank you.
And today we're celebrating cerebral palsy, not only for Joe, not only for Melanie, but for many parents and many children. The only way to effect a change is to be part of the change, and you can be too. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me and let me talk about my sweet boy. Thank you.
You're welcome. For parents who are seeking resources, there is Go Green for CP, United Cerebral Palsy Association of Connecticut, and Yale Cerebral Palsy Program.
Cerebral palsy shows up differently in different people. Some people have mild cases, other people are nonverbal. I have spastic quadriplegia, which means I got all 4 limbs on my bingo card. To learn more about how you can help advocate for cerebral palsy research funding, visit www.gogreenforcp.org.
Thank you for watching the Dr. Powell Show. I'm your host, Dr. Keisha Powell. If you would like to participate by donating to CVC, please scan the QR code that comes up on our screen. Again, thank you for joining the Dr. Powell Show. Should you have any questions that you'd like us to answer on the show, please email us at powelltherapysolutions@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to answer your questions live here on the show. Again, thank you, and see you soon.